Hi there guys and girls, I'm here with Daniel Pesina and Anthony Marquez, who play
Johnny Cage, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Reptile, Smoke, and Noob Saibot.
And Kung Lao.
Kung Lao! Hey, Kung Lao was pretty bad.
I need 5 to match his 1.
So I just wanted to ask you guys like a bit about the journey of Mortal Kombat. I mean, you were there right from the start, Daniel. Is that right? You were actually setting up all the characters to do all the moves.
Actually, my friend John Tobias, who both of us knew before Mortal Kombat, called me up and said, hey, can I help him put together some videos to pitch his, he wanted to do a fighting game, and he wanted to pitch it to sell the idea to his boss. So myself, Richard, and Carlos went in first to film some moves, and then John took that, and then he took some artwork and his idea to his boss, and his boss was like, oh, this is a cool idea, let's move forward with this, and kind of to move forward. So then you know, we met and created Mortal Kombat, what it is today, and he was like, who else would do it? And I mentioned right away my friend Tony, who was going to be in the first game. So we were all going to be in the first game together.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So you were going to be Liu Kang?
No, so we're all friends, and Hosang was going to be Liu Kang. I was going to be the ninjas.
Right.
A couple of days before they started filming, though, I did in the weight room, and I dropped the weight on my toe, and
broke it. Fatality. You know, and when you have one foot, you can't kick. You know what I mean? People think that, oh, it's only a toe. But when you use the toe to grip the ground to kick, all of a sudden you can't do that. You can't even balance, really.
Yeah, and the pain shoots right up your leg.
Yeah, it sucked.
Messes with your balance.
Yeah, so at the last minute, they were like, oh, Tony can't do it. He broke his toe. And it was your big toe, too.
Yeah,
So, yeah, you can't walk if you don't have your big toe.
Right. So, and mind you, if it were, you know, like a life and death situation, obviously I'd still be able to do this. But you know, in terms of shooting Mortal Kombat, you want the best stuff that you could possibly put out there,
of course.
And that just no longer put me in that position. Danny obviously took care of all of that, and I just gotta say that, you know, if I would have done the ninjas, I'm sure it would have been, you know, great or whatever. But Danny really, you know, those ninjas are so iconic, you know, because of Danny. The rope dart stuff and all of that stuff that comes from Danny. If you know, if I were to do the ninjas, it would have been different, and who knows if they would have been as iconic.
I mean, plus Kung Lao, man.
He did
Kung Lao. You know, that would have changed everything, the whole schematics. And I think just us as a group doing our putting our personality, because really for MK1 and 2, we didn't act. That was part of our own personality. Kung Lao, his attitude and stuff like that, that was already Tony years ago. You know, same thing with Raiden.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Raiden is so Carlos. And you know from hanging out with Rich is Kano. He doesn't act.
He is Kano.
You know what I mean? And Johnny Cage, that's my personality.
That's right.
And the ninjas are my martial kind of personality. So people think, oh, how do you act like that? We didn't really act because we just were, hey, you're going to be this guy. Okay. We didn't have any, too, when we were making the game, we didn't have any guidance. Really, they were like, okay, we need this. How would you do that? And then we would just do it. You know, we need a punch. Okay, what kind of punch? I don't know. What kind of punch do you know? Okay, we'll do it this way, this way, this way. And if you really look at the MK1 and 2, you will see that everyone moves different.
Yes.
After 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, everybody moves the same.
Yeah.
But in 1 and 2, everyone has a unique way of fighting. Somebody uses a palm, somebody uses a punch, somebody uses a punch different. So every fighter really is unique.
That's true. You know, like I always tell a lot of people who watch me that all the uppercuts in MK2 are different. Like John Parrish probably has the best uppercut because his comes out wide, like bang, like
he's
that.
A big guy.
You know, and it hits you like a truck. You know, so if someone's coming at you, that's a really good defensive move in Mortal Kombat 2. Whereas some other characters have a really close knit uppercut, which is very close to their body.
Right.
Might not be as effective. You know, all the character moves, all the roundhouse kicks, the standing kicks, the low kicks, the uppercuts, all have different range.
Yeah.
And you have to, when you're playing the game, you have to keep that in mind when someone's jumping right at you to attack you.
Sure.
Yeah,
You have to know them too. You have to know how they're going to fly kick. Like Baraka just comes at you with both feet. You know, he's got a really devastating fly kick.
Yeah, it's actually a move in contemporary wushu.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Torpedo. Yeah.
All right.
To kick like that, and then you land on
And both legs
that.
out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that, and then you land on the floor and do ground footing. But
All
yeah,
right.
yeah. So yeah, a lot of it is when you look at it, a lot of it is authentic martial arts. You know, and then during that time too, Ed and John studied martial arts with me. Tony, you know, they would show up to the gym and take lessons, and we would talk about how to teach certain moves, because us as a group are martial artists, but we were limited to that group. He wanted to get other people who didn't know martial arts in it. So, you know, I was like, okay, this is how we're going to make other people look like they know martial arts. And then you would call one of us in, and we can make up a special move for them, because everyone's special move too are from an actual martial arts style. So then we were like, hey, they could do that, and then just one of us would come in and be like, okay, we're going to do a special move from Shaolin style or Drunken style, or, you know, different styles of martial arts. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So the fatalities in the game, let's talk about those. So in the first game, you uppercut the head off. Bang! Was this your idea, or did...
Yeah. But when we first created the game, we already knew that there was going to be blood in the game. Actually, John wanted to do battle damage.
Yep.
So when you get punched in the face a little bit, you'd have a bruise. And we were all against that, because we were like, no, it's our face. People are, we want to be recognized all the time. We got such a big ego, you know. And we wanted and John was just, you know, it's John's game. He is the real creator from the beginning. You know, we have, you know, everybody else created stuff after he got the ball moving. You know. So with that, we already knew there was going to be blood in the game. And then, you know, he was like, John came up to me. He's like, okay, now he goes, we're going to come. We want to finish the guy some way where you just pummeled the guy, and that never made the game. But we had like a smashing pummel where we pummeled the guy and then we would finish him.
Right.
So he's like, okay, then you got some way to finish the guy, and I think that's how they came up with finish him, because we were all like, oh, Tony, you got to come away with the guy to finish the guy. So I was like, oh, it'd be really cool if I punched the guy's head off. So then. They took that idea, and they had the blood idea, and they handed it over with the artwork to Ed, and Ed just put extreme amount of blood in it. You know, the first time I witnessed it, it was really, really shocking, because too it looks like me. So I was like, and so when I got my own head, I punched off my own head. I was just like, holy cow, that's kind of shocking.
Yeah, you know? That's what I was going to ask. What was it like seeing yourselves, you know, dismembered or cut up, or
especially you know, within those first two games or whatever. You know, you take someone like me, you know, I have a good amount of experience in especially Chinese martial arts at the time. You take someone like Hosung, Liu Kang, also, you know, champion martial artist or whatever. But Danny was there for everybody. Every time somebody was shooting, you know, he was there. And then especially, you know, those other people who don't have such a deep fighting background, you know, like Sonya Blade, like Jack or whatever, you know, especially with those guys. Yeah. It's you know, when you, what can these people do? What kind of strikes, or what kind of, you know, how can someone finish somebody? You know, Danny was always there, and even with me or Hosung or whatever, you know, it'd always be a collaboration. So yeah, but Danny did have a huge part in, you know, creating these characters. What they're gonna do, how they're gonna finish them, how they're gonna move, how they're gonna strike. Yep. So yeah, so it was a really cool time period where you could just be so, you know, no limits, and just be as creative as possible.
Yeah, we always just, as the game went on, we always tried to one-up each other, because we were always because we always competed in martial arts against each other. You know, usually it'd be like, okay, at the end of this martial art tournament, it's going to be Daniel versus Tony, or Tony versus Hosung. We were always competing against each other, so we were always just trying to create and we're geeks. You know, we met I met Tobias playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, nice.
You know what I mean? Tony met Tobias. We used to play a game called Ninja where we'd run around the park at friggin' midnight throwing flower balls at each other. We would wear black. So that way if you get hit with a flower ball, you hit it. So, yes, we would, in this huge park by my house. So, you know, Tony met John that way. So geeking out. Who in the hell does that? Only geeks.
That's awesome.
And sometimes we'd have like, literally, you know, we would be like, okay, we're going to meet at my garage at midnight, and then we're going to go play Ninjas. One time, we were there, and we had people from all over Chicago showing up. We had like 70 people sitting in my garage waiting to play Ninja. People we didn't even know, and you know, we met other, because he used to break dance. We met like Crazy from a Chinese break dancing crew who was like really a legend. I was like, oh, you're crazy, and he's like, yeah, man, his break dancing skills is legendary. You know?
Different DJs.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Man,
That's cool.
so we're geeks. So when we went to make this game, and then we're martial artists, so we always tried to one-up each other or create stuff, and it was a big collaboration. We always were trying to make the best game. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, did you know that it was going to be great? And for me personally, and I think for these guys, it's like we didn't think it would be that big, but we knew that game was going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Because we were doing anything for the best game.
And this just comes from the way that we grew up together. You know, all the time, nobody would want to go home first because, if you went home first, that means the other guys are still training. Right. And nobody wanted to be the first guy out of training. Everybody just constantly wanted to be better. And we're all brothers. If Danny has success, I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
If Rich has success, I'm happy for him. But we each wanted to be better than the other, and it didn't matter if we're training. It didn't matter if it was tournaments. It didn't matter if these were our Mortal Kombat characters. My character is going to be better than your character.
It's a friendly rivalry.
Yeah,
it sure is.
Yeah.
It is, and it's like, again, for us, we can mess with each other.
Yeah.
But if somebody else messes with each other, we all gang up. Yeah, it's just a brotherhood. It's just like an MK. When people are going that, I'll play you, and too. It was always, you're only as good as your nemesis, as the person you compete.
That's
right.
right.
If you're super good, you don't want to compete against somebody who's not so good. I mean, you could if you're into money or something like that, but we've always been more like in our ego. We want to beat you at your best. I want to beat you when you're the best. I don't want to beat you if you're not very good, because my victory is sour. At least for.
And it didn't matter, again, if we're training, if we're lifting, if we're dancing, it didn't matter.
All the time. It was good. And so we were always that. With John, he used to go on days with my brother Carlos and another guy, Andy Kudelka, who drew the comic, helped him draw the comic book.
All right, yeah.
So they would always be drawing each other and try to like inspire each other to draw and go out and find different people to bring into their creative group. So it was like just a big group of geeks that kept growing and growing and growing.
So, a question about Kung Lao's fatality. I know this is totally off topic bit here, but did you come up?
It's on topic.
Well, so I'm talking about the relevant conversation. But Kung Lao's fatality, I've always been curious about it because Kung Lao's a good guy. But he has one of the most savage fatalities. He cuts the guy down the middle.
Who does that? Well, then don't fuck with Kung Lao. If you don't want to get cut, if you don't want to die, don't
but he's
fight.
a Shaolin monk. Shouldn't he have like all this I'm above the violence?
No.
Because kind of Liu Kang in the first one kind of had that. He didn't have the fatality like it didn't go black.
Only because Tony didn't go before him, and then he would have been more brutal. You know what I mean? Kung Lao did his fatality is because at the time he was the only one who kind of did his own
Okay,
gaming more.
Danny, ultimately he's a very good person, and it's very much that Johnny Cage, this thing, he loves everybody. This is just Danny. Hosung, again talking about Hosung, he just wants to be the best. Okay, that Kano or Rich, he's just kind of
Love the guy, but he is Kano. Anything you think about Kano, that is Rich. It's like
And Kung Lao, it is very much, I love everybody. I want, I want us all to coexist. Ultimately, though, if you cross that line, if things have to happen, then things are going to end this way. And it's whether it's me, whether it's Kung Lao, things are going to end this way if you cross this line.
With a friendship.
But that is Tony. That is Tony when we're competing. He never pulls back when he competes.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's me versus him, and guess what? He's gonna. Again, I like that because you're gonna go up against Tony. It's gonna be you got to have your A game.
That's right.
You don't bring your B game.
Right.
Otherwise, guess what? Don't be crying if you friggin' lose or
That's right.
He kicks your ass. Well, it's your own fault.
And Danny and I got to put this on. Danny has knocked me out on more than one occasion. But
Shadow kick? Or was it the ball? Or was it the ball?
Because I didn't see it coming. Let me tell you that.
Must have been the red shadow kick.
But I'm coming at Danny, and then that's what I want. That's what we all want. We all want ourselves to be, come at you with the best stuff, and then let's see what happens. And then after everything's done, that was, dude. There's still Tweety birds flying around, which is okay. So.
And I'm sure you've knocked him out too with your spin move.
Dude, one time he was still standing up after he knocked me down, and then he friggin' punched me in the nuts and knocked me down. So, you know what I mean? It's that you want to win.
Yeah. Okay, and I apologize for that.
You got caged.
I got caged. Right? But you know what? But that is what it is. And
I was young.
That,
I was young at the time.
Sometimes when you're in a moment,
you bring it to the game. You bring that personality and stuff to the game. So
I apologize.
So you know what? If again, it's brutal because guess what? In the end, that's how Kung Lao held the tournament for so long because he needs to win. He needs to win, or the Earth realm will fall, and that's not lightly. You can't show somebody compassion in that particular way because they'll come from behind you and kill you. And then guess what? It goes one more to the other side.
And so that's that personality or whatever that comes through in the game.
Are you aware of like the jealousy between Kung Lao and Liu Kang in the game? Because Kung Lao's the story mentions that Kung Lao was the original like Mortal Kombat champion, like your ancestor.
Yeah.
And then Liu Kang came along and he's like the new champion. And then in MK2, he kind of teams up with Liu Kang, but he's jealous because Liu Kang is still like considered the champion. And it's something that they unfold in the later games a bit.
No, that's only in the game, man. There's Tony's jealous of no one.
No, I'm not saying in real life, but I'm saying, are you aware of that storyline in the games, like that they went with that path?
Oh yeah, so and it is very much, again,
the competitive side of you guys.
So, again, within this group or whatever, Danny's like our big brother, okay? We kind of follow what he's doing or whatever. He's our big brother. And then there was also Hosung's older brother, who was also older than us. So again, like an older brother. Danny was the oldest, so because he held the most weight. And then there is Hosung and I. And
going at it.
The same thing, we trained together. We trained in China together. That whole, a lot of our lives parallel the Liu Kang, Kung Lao storyline, where we trained. We were the guys who trained, together in China. Danny had his own training. Ho Young had his own training, but Hosung and I trained together in China. We were always competing. We were always pushing each other. Hosung, won many championships. Beat me, and I pushed him, but he pushed me also. but there's always that rivalry. If it were later in the day, and we're talking about relationships and stuff like that, there's a whole other story to this stuff. But yeah, we're constantly going at it. I love the man.
Yeah, but it's.
But like you said, you do that to better yourself, and that's why you challenge each other.
If you want to be the best,
it's a deep friendship, but you're still like, we're going to take you down.
Yeah,
but
within the.
But don't let anybody else do it.
Right.
Because they're not in the friendship circle.
You know.
And did you know that Johnny Cage has one of the only is I believe the only character in the game who has a switch in the arcade that you can turn off one of your moves?
No, I did not know that.
So when Johnny Cage does the ball breaker, bang, you can switch that off.
Right.
There's a switch that Ed put in the game because
he
thought it might be too far. It might just be too violent.
I don't know about that. I think that might stem more for at the beginning of
a grunt shot is too violent, but
it's pretty full on.
Put your heart out.
No, I think that might be a myth because at the beginning, I know he said it, but he might have.
It could be something else.
Yeah, he could have rethought it because I know at the beginning there was only Johnny Cage versus Johnny Cage for a long time.
Yep.
So sometimes you'd have to turn off the move. One guy's move to see what the glitch is in one person without the computer reacting.
Oh, we're just wondering, testing.
Yeah, testing. So that would seem more realistic than being like, a nut punch is too much, but ripping your heart out.
I know.
Is all right.
I know. It's always boggled my mind too.
Or shocking you into your cinder is
violence.
Yeah. So I would think that the other thing is probably truer, and when sometimes when you ask and you're not sure of how it was, because again, a lot of and I have this debate with other people. A lot of people are like, there was only one program. As far as I know, there were 5 programmers.
All right.
Yeah, and somebody else might have done that because one day I came into film and I seen John Tobias in the same shirt, and unshaven, and he looked like he hadn't. I was like, Boop, you go out partying last night? He was like, no, I've been here working on the game all night. And I was like, whoa, what happened? And he goes, well, you know what? He goes, the programmers are different than the artists. Artists are always drawing and creating, but sometimes the programmers wait until the last minute and they throw everything at you to do it because they get that stroke of genius and all of a sudden they do it. And he goes, so last night, he goes, there 5 guys threw their work at me for this game. So I was here all night trying to make, the corrections for what they wanted. And so when he said that, I was like, there's 5 programmers. A lot of people are like, Ed programmed the game, but that happened a couple times. So I think that other people might have done little bits here and there, and he did the majority of things. He's a great programmer because without programming, the game wouldn't flow good or things like that.
Yeah.
But with that statement, you get other people doing things that maybe when they asked him, he wasn't sure, and he just felt like, because of the violence. We turned it off because of the viilence. But really, somebody else was like, no, we got to turn it off to test the character because it's a different programmer.
Yeah.
So and again, Ed was the boss of MK. He's like the boss of it. So he doesn't, his time has to be spread out. So just maybe somebody else did that.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, like on movies, they outsource stuff.
Yeah.
I was second unit on a movie helping do this one effect. But just because he was too busy.
Right.
With other guys.
Yeah,
I just did it for free.
And then
I'm in the credits.
Just
because we're friends with the director.
Especially we're going to run around and check for people's work or correct people's work or tell them, hey, don't do that, or you know what I mean? It's a busy time.
Where I grew up in Australia, there's one state, the top right, the pointy part of Australia. That's called Queensland.
Okay.
That's where I grew up, right? And they actually banned the blood and fatalities on Mortal Kombat, and so they had a switch as well to turn them off, and I had to play Mortal Kombat for years with no blood. So it's like finish him, and I couldn't do it, and you couldn't do anything. It's like you uppercut them, or you roundhouse them, or you do a fireball.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever hear about that? Like about censorship?
Yeah, about censorship, but for us, Like I know for us, if we ever did anything wrong, our moms would kick our ass. So I think that a lot of time somebody wants to blame someone for something. So I think they censor it to think that, oh, you can't handle that because you're young and it's too much for your eyes. But I knew, my dad used to take us to kung fu movies. But I knew if I hit my little brother Carlos, my mom would beat my ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I knew, like, don't do that.
Yep.
So I think that a lot of people were like, "Oh, the blood is too violent and stuff like that." No, I don't think it was.
It's
ever
fantasy.
That.
It's fantasy violence.
Yeah, because everybody knows kind of it's just fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we went through that stuff here in the U.S. also. A lot of censorship, especially when the home version of the game.
The Lieberman hearings. I streamed that live. I watched the whole hearing start to end live and did a stream of it. And I was laughing. I was in tears the whole time because they were just like...
Because they're politicians. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, and it was really one-sided. They'd show, like, the Mega Drive version with all the violence. And then they'd show the Nintendo version and, like, cut the tape off before finishing even came up.
Sure.
And say, this one's okay. And it's like, what? And it's like, it was just, it was crazy,
But as Danny was saying, a lot of people like to blame other people for things.
Yeah.
And Mortal Kombat, there's a lot of blood in that. But also, like those old Kung Fu movies had a lot of blood and everything like that.
8 diagram pole fire knocks out all the teeth.
Yeah. But if you're, I've always thought this. If you're not watching your children, bad things can and will happen.
Yeah.
But when you're taking care of your children, and whether you're going to the kung fu movie, whether you're playing Mortal Kombat, you temper your children by and letting them know what's right and wrong.
Yep.
And if through Mortal Kombat or these kung fu movies or whatever, they grow to love martial arts or whatever.
Yeah.
And so then they go to a martial arts school, and it becomes a part of their lives. And then they understand the discipline that it takes in martial arts, the respect for your teachers and your fellow students, the self-esteem that becomes, you grow because I have a goal that I can achieve, and I'm better than I was yesterday. All of these things are driven through martial arts. And if it were the spark was Mortal Kombat, if the spark was a martial arts movie, those are the positive things that come from Mortal Kombat. But you can't just let your kids go ahead and play and don't do anything. Temper what your kids are doing, interact with them, let them know the right from wrong, and Mortal Kombat can be a hugely positive influence on everybody.
Well,
we 100%. 100%. That's how I think about it.
Yeah, we met guys at the con, at the Combat Con. They're coming up to us and saying, "Yo, Mortal Kombat." And they're bringing posters or whatever. Mortal Kombat inspired me to do martial arts, and then he showed us pictures of boxing and doing martial arts, and it was a very positive influence. And ultimately, that's what it is.
I got into programming because of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
I'm an artist because of Mortal Kombat.
Exactly.
It has a lot of positive things. I think it has more positive than the fake negative.
Right. Yeah. I always say that, like with video games, there's a lot of positive things. Even the Pokemon Go game I play sometimes, you can teach your kids a lot from
Sure.
that. You can teach them maths. You can teach them patience.
Sure.
You can teach them, social interactivity.
Yeah, as long as you're there to guide them.
Exactly.
Right.
When parents don't watch their kids or they do whatever you want, sort of thing, that's when things can go bad.
Yeah.
But I grew up watching all the violent movies, all that stuff, and I'm not a crazy person. So. Well,
I don't know about that, guys.
A little bit crazy.
I've hung out with them. I don't know about that. Crazy in a good way.
Yeah.
Crazy in a good way.
But I
But
mean,
it can
I don't
function
go
within society.
Exactly. I don't go around like...
We didn't cage anybody.
Yeah, I haven't caged anyone yet. So, lastly, just wondering, some of your martial arts heroes,
Oh, sure.
like inspiration. I'm gonna guess for you. I'm gonna guess. Sho Kosugi.
Sure. Sho Kosugi could be in there, but ultimately, Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee,
The
shaped,
attitude, everything. Martial artist, dancer, singer.
Everything.
That's Tony. Yeah. Yeah, you were
It's
at the
true,
VIP.
I've seen him sing.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll come to Australia and give you the show.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I got to hook you up with. I know a few people who do some of the cons in
Yeah,
Australia.
you know what? Send me their information. We'd be happy to talk to you and do whatever we can to meet an agreement to go out and bring, some of the MK family out to you. Because
I think people will love it.
It is difficult to come here. When
Yeah.
you got here, you didn't sleep for friggin' 2 days. Everything is, turned upside down.
I was so dead.
Yeah.
I was like a zombie.
Yeah.
I was like zombie Liu Kang. Yeah. But for you, is it Bruce Lee as well, or is it like Chuck Norris?
For me, what started me actually in martial arts was Bruce Lee. The
Yep.
Green Hornet, Bruce
Yep.
Lee, my older brothers took martial arts for a really, really brief time.
Yep.
Bruce Lee, but later on, naturally, Jet Li, Leland J.
Yep.
Yeah,
both
same.
Yeah,
same.
inspired us with the more sophisticated or formal side of martial arts.
Right.
Right.
Bruce Lee is known for his raw talent. Awesome legend.
And just being so adaptive.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, he thought of we have a style called Xingyi, and his Jeet Kune Do is...
Yeah, Jeet Kune Do.
Jeet Kune Do is actually him inventing a martial art that he
That
only
doesn't
read
exist.
about.
Oh,
You know what I
right.
mean? To manifest it. You could read about stuff, but you can't really create it. You have to be a genius to create that stuff. But all of his theories and stuff like that, I know he said associated with Wing Chun, but because of the power he developed and the strategy, it's very much Xingyi, which is mind and will boxing.
All right.
It's a mind. It's all the anything that's named mind and will, meaning I'm gonna will my martial arts on you, through my mind. It's intense, man. It's friggin' it's really good.
That's some manipulation right there.
Yeah, but as far as that, we
Awesome.
common,
Yeah, well, I guess that's it for this interview. So I want to
Awesome.
thank you, man.
All right,
Tony
thank you.
Marquez, Daniel Pesina.
Yeah,
reporting-
follow us on Instagram, Anthony Marquez Kung Lao.
Instagram, Facebook.
Anthony Marquez Kung Lao, myself, Master Daniel Pesina. Also on Instagram, Master D Pesina. Twitter, Master Pesina.
And would love to come out to Australia. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
And this is TMK, Luke, signing out live from Kung Lao's gym.
Get over here.
Thanks, guys.